back with another episode for all you up and coming business owners or people looking to get their idea off the ground and they find it very hard to get it off the ground. This is what we're here to do, is to help you guys out. Now, in episode 27, I'm actually going to debunk something that baffled me when I first started looking into starting a side hustle or starting a business, and continues to baffle people every day. And that is, how do you get started and how much money do you need to get started? All right. First and foremost, my biggest thing is that the internet has leveled the playing field. So when people ask me, hey, how do I get capital to start a new business? Or, hey, how do I get started? What I tell them is that, well, there's no more gatekeepers. The internet has leveled the playing field for all of us. So you can literally start a business in less than $300 nowadays. I've living proof of that. My wife is living proof of that. And a few other people who have gone through the system, the 6 pillars that I have could be, could vouch for that, right? So when I first started about 18 months ago, I had no idea, besides hearsay and she say, I had no idea where to begin. And my mindset was always that I'm going to need to know somebody, right? Or I'm going to need to get equipment, or I'm going to need to, have a big budget to get started, or I'm going to have to start a business account and, get a loan, like a business loan, to actually get off the ground that I would have to pay back. And naturally, that's scary. Anytime you have to borrow money and don't know, what you're going to do with that money or how you're going to pay it back, it could definitely be super scary. So those are the problems I had in the beginning. And to add on top of those problems, those are just financial problems and, business related problems. Or what about, where do I get the free time to start a business? I work 9 to 5. I got 4 kids. Barely got any time to do anything. Don't want to stay up till 3 in the morning working, because I tried that, and that usually leads to me getting burnt out. And when I get burnt out, I'm not really the greatest person to be around, to be honest. I'm sure my wife would agree. So in the very beginning, I was doing that. I was putting long hours trying to, find how to get a logo and try to find how to get my website up, and didn't have any money to pay Squarespace. And it was a mess, guys. I'm sure you guys know where I'm going with this, because you're probably in the same exact spot right now. So you're either lost on where to go in the 21st century on how to start, like resources, or you had, like I had, which was an old mindset of like back in the 90s, where you would actually need to know somebody that knew somebody, or you would need a lot of money to get on the board, right? To start competing, to buy product, to buy equipment. That's what my mindset was on, right? And I had somebody very close to me that was basically like, nah, man, like you can do this, you can do it. He was saying overnight, and I still didn't believe him, because nothing was happening overnight. Everything was taking super long. And every time I would think that I was heading the right way, I would end up in a dead end. Website being the longest one, right? Like there's a lot that goes into a website, and there's a lot that goes into hosting if you don't know about it, or if you don't have somebody to walk you through it. And when you try to load your website up for the first time and it doesn't load up and you get stuck and you get all frustrated about it, you have to go keep digging deeper and wasting more time, and sometimes wasting more money to figure that problem out. That's a huge one, guys. So yeah, my biggest debunk is that you do not need a lot of capital. I've gotten it as close to $300, a little bit under, and you do not need to know somebody, because with the bottom part of the pillars, the second half of the pillars, that's how you're going to get people to know you and to know your services and to know what you have to offer. So I've done a webinar about this. Actually, the last 2 episodes of the podcast were split into a part 1 and part 2 of this webinar. But I wanted to go into, I want to debunk those rumors real quickly here on episode 27. So if, somebody comes up to you and tells you, hey, go get, let's say $5,000 to $10,000 so we can start this company, back away from them very fast. You don't need that much money. All you need is the 6 things in place. You need a domain name, right? Because you want to own this place. You want nobody else to get it. And nowadays, if you own the domain name, that's pretty much enough to keep people away until you're able to nail it down, say with a copyright or anything like that. So you need a domain name. And with that, you're going to need, the name of the company, because you want the domain name to match it. So that's step 1. That's very easy to do. You can go to Google Domains and get it for $12. Once you own it, it's yours. You can even see if there's any available there. The second thing that you need is an image, right? So you need a logo, right? You need, eventually the Nikes of the world. You need people to see your logo and say the name of your company right in their head as soon as they see their logo. So you're gonna need a very catchy one. Now, this was something in the beginning as well that I was having a hard time with because I wanted something really good. But every time I was asking people for it, they were giving me, $500 quotes, $1,000 quotes because they were brand specialists and because of this and because of that. And eventually, I stumbled upon Canva, and the rest is kind of history. If you've ever used Canva, you know how useful of a tool it is and how powerful of a tool it is. So you're gonna need a logo. Another way to do it is you just outsource it. Send it to somebody on Fiverr in a different part of the world that would do it for $10, $20, and will have a lot more fun and have a lot more experience doing it than you would ever. That's super important, guys. So that's number two. You need a logo. So where are we at right now? We're $12 with a domain name. A logo, let's put $20 for the logo. We're at $22 right now. Okay, so you need a place to live on the internet. If you have the domain, you're going to need the house, right? The domain is the area of land and the website is the house. So you're going to need a website and you're going to need to get your own hosting. Okay, so if I were to not go with my own hosting, I would already be out $220 at the minimum to sign up for places that do it for you, like Squarespace, Wix. So that already puts me in an area where I don't want to spend that much money. There is an argument to be made for, you can spend that money to free up the time. That is true, but remember, you're going to keep getting this, $220 charge every year, even after you figured it out. So it's probably best to invest the time early on to do your own hosting and figure that out than it is to actually pay the $220. So I use HostGator for my hosting, and they have really easy WordPress install tools that you can walk through. And for 3 years, guys, you can get it for about $97. So where are we at right now? We have a domain for $12. We have a logo for about 20. We got a website for about 97. Let's round up to about $130. So there you're going to have your website. That's the place where you're going to live. All right, guys. Now, since you know what it is your company is going to be around, you have to figure out how to get paid. If you don't get paid, then you can't make any progress. And as you know, if you're not selling anything, you really don't have a business. You just have a hobby. There's numerous ways to get paid. I go over it in the 6 pillars. You can use PayPal. You can use Stripe, Cash App. There's so many different ways. And the good old fashioned way of just literally getting cash in hand. If you set up a business account, you'll be able to get checks. So it's very easy to get a business account, or at least it is here in Massachusetts, which is where I'm from. If you don't want to LLC it, which will cost you a lot of money, you can go and spend $50, go down to City Hall and get yourself a sole proprietorship. And that will in turn allow you to go to the bank and open a business account, and then you'll be able to collect checks and you'll be able to separate your daily money from your business money. Right. So that's important to do. And that doesn't cost you, it costs you $50 for the sole proprietorship, at least here in Massachusetts it does. And that'll get you pretty much up and running. So we were at 130 where we're at now. Now we're at 180, right, for the $50 for the sole proprietorship. Okay, guys, now the second half here. Now that's already set up for you to have your company, to have your product or service, to have a place for you to live on the internet, and to have an image, right, to have a logo. So now you're set up. Now it's time to get people out there to know about your company. This is where I added a Facebook business page. Every time I check, the stat changes and it goes higher, but there's about like 3 billion people in the world that are on Facebook at any given time. Yes, I could have added a bunch of other pillars like LinkedIn, things like that. But to me, I find in my history that Facebook is where everybody is at, all different types of people, all different types of backgrounds. And most likely your customer avatar will be here on Facebook. So you set up a Facebook business page, which is absolutely free if you have a business account, a Facebook business account. And what happens there is now you can separate, sort of like you did with the bank accounts. You could have a personal Jose, Facebook page, and then you could have a separate business page where people can follow your business and kind of stay away from you, from your personal life. Now, there's a lot to be said for having, a very good personal page, meaning that they'll bleed over, right? So somebody who's interested in your company would most likely be interested in checking out your personal life. So be careful how you post. But in theory, the idea is that both of these two accounts are separated, and what you post in one, you're not going to find in the other one. So that's where you go. That's where you can check, talk to your audience, interact with your audience, and then Facebook gives you super cool analytics in the business page that will allow you to track that audience and get some really good valuable information on what time of day do they usually interact with you, and crazy things like that and cool things like that. So that's why I chose Facebook as the bottom half of these pillar, the last two to be exact. So the business page will allow you to do that and share your message and do it for free on a platform where everybody's located. The best way to get in front of your customers to go to where they're congregating at, and Facebook groups is usually where they're congregating at, and that's huge. That's important for a business, which is why it's one of the pillars, and it's free. So we're now at the 180 mark still. And the last part and the last pillar is a little bit more than just a business page. It's knowing how to do Facebook ads, right? So Facebook ads is a huge platform. Don't get overwhelmed by it. There is a lot of things that you can do with it, but there's a lot of things also that you may not ever need. So don't get overwhelmed with it. It's just important to learn the basics of Facebook ads, like, the different types of campaigns you can do, getting a Facebook pixel on your page so that you can track and follow people. Not follow them literally, just kind of, get an idea of who's visiting your page, doing lookalike audiences and custom audiences, setting up a budget, things like, getting the right ad copy and the right creative, which is the image, things like that. So know the very basics of having a Facebook ads, because once gotten really good at organic, like with your Facebook business page and getting people to see your product and interact with you, the next level to that is getting more people that don't know you outside of your circle or your follower circles, to come and hang out with you, right? To come and talk to you. And that's where Facebook ads becomes very, very powerful, which is the last pillar there. So guys, we are far under $300 here, meaning that you have a little wiggle room to do a few things if you want. And this is the same exact blueprint that I used to start a digital marketing agency and have the best financial year of my life in 2019, and continuous, right? So this is where I learned to do all this stuff, and I've done it for my wife's company, which is a baking company, which you would think is usually brick and mortar, but she needs a website, she needs a presence online. So these 6 pillars apply. I've also done this for a commercial film company. I've done this for a few different things. As long as you need these things, which is an online presence, a website, a logo, all those things. As long as you need those things, as your business requires those things, and these 6 pillars are exactly what you need, right? So, and the 6-pillar checklist, which you can just go and check it out. It's actually, sorry guys, let me get it up here. It's actually a $300. You have to spell dollar up. $300startup.com/6-pillar checklist. If you go there, you're going to get the checklist that basically talks about, for free, you're going to get the checklist that I covered here, which, once again, guys, I'm under $300. That leaves me room to make a better logo. That leaves me room to spend a little more on something else. So that question, that myth of, hey, you need a lot of capital to start an online business nowadays, is completely false. Get rid of that narrative, because it's not true. All you need is these 6 things. And I found out the hard way, because it took me a long time to do it, but it's still possible by just doing these 6 things. And that's why they're pillars, and that's why they're so important. And that's why I'm so passionate about them. That's why I want to keep reminding you guys that it is possible. Your idea that you have had for so long does not have to live in your head. It can actually come out to the world. My sister was a recent example of this. She wanted to do like embroidery company, and she had a machine for a long time. She was really good at it, but all she was really doing was just embroidering, our stuff, like family, local stuff. We, used the 6 pillars with her. We got her business off the ground, and now she's making passive income while she stays at her day job, doing the stuff that was in her head months ago that she couldn't get out. You guys can do this too, guys. It's not impossible to start a business. You don't have to be overwhelmed. You just have to find the right resources and the right way to go. That's super important, guys. Hopefully these 6 pillars will get rid of all that fog for you, so you guys can go straight into what it is that you want to do. But I promise you, these are the only 6 things you need. Don't let nobody tell you need more. You can add more over time, but we're talking about the very beginning here, so we're not trying to overwhelm ourselves here. We're trying to save money, and we're trying to save time. These are the the only 6 things that you need to save a ton of time, and you will save a ton of money if you follow the resources that I told you to go follow. And you will own everything. Everything will be yours, guys, from scratch. I'm living proof of this, and a few other people that I've tried this system on are living proof. Download your 6 pillars checklist, guys. Yeah, all the myths that you thought about, the gatekeepers, you need to know somebody, all that stuff is gone. All you need is passion. All you need is drive. When it comes to mindset, and then when it comes to actual execution, all you need is these 6 things. Focus on these 6 things, then you'll be able to have the 2019 that I had, which, I was able to take a few vacations. I was able to pay off my debt. I was able to keep up with bills, which in turn just takes a lot of stress off your shoulders and makes life a little bit easier. So, guys, don't listen to anybody who tells you you need a lot of money, and don't listen to anybody that tells you you don't have enough time, or if you feel in your own head that you say you don't have enough time, get that out of your head. Follow these 6 pillars, and you will have your online business right away, and you can grow this business as far as and as big as you want. Take care, guys. That's episode 27. I'll see you guys next week. Later.